Mental health check, people. Um, how do you view yourself? How do you talk about yourself? Um, how do you think about yourself? I would imagine that most people don't think too highly of themselves. I imagine that most people aren't meditating on positive things about themselves in their lives. Even people that we would consider to be egomaniacs, people that we would consider to be narcissists, people who are narcissists for sure. I think there's a lot of negative thoughts there. And I think that for your narcissists, your egomaniacs, that they're overcompensating. I think that even them, not a lot of people think positive thoughts. Now, I'm not big like, I wouldn't consider myself a glass half full type of person. I'm not Mr. Positivity. But I do think that we need to be thinking about ourselves more positively, for sure. Um, I think it's kind of like there's three H's, right? There's hope, there's honesty, and there is humility. I think with hope, if you view yourself through the lens of hope, there's always something positive to push you forward, no matter how bad your circumstances are. There's something that you can draw from, something positive that you did, something positive about yourself, something to hang on to, something to give you the strength to move forward when there's hope, right? When there's honesty, then you can see the things that you need to work on, things in your life that need to change. When there's humility, there are, it's not just that you recognize that hey, something needs to change, but you do it. Like, let's say that you have anger issues. Honesty, if you're honest with yourself, you acknowledge you have anger issues, and then humility says, I need to do something about it. So those three H's, I would say. Negativity is it kills those three things. Right? If you're negative, then there is no hope. If you're a negative, then you're not really honest with yourself. You're only focusing on bad things, and a lot of times you're amplifying those bad things. And if you're negative, there's no humility. You've condemned yourself in your situation, so you won't move forward at all. So this is where positivity comes in. And also, a big part of how other people view you and how other people treat you is how you carry yourself. And how you carry yourself starts with how you view yourself. In a more of a God context, being that I'm a Christian, how does God view us? If you're a Christian, you know the answer to that question. I don't know if you're in a season where you're believing the answer to that question, but you know the answer to the question of how God views you if you're a Christian. If you just became a Christian, well, I'm sure you're on a journey of figuring that out. And we're always kind of on that journey, though. Not to get too sidetracked with that, of gaining understanding of how God views us, how he loves us. And if you're not a Christian, well, no time like the present. But at the very least, you should be thinking positively about yourself. You should be considering who you're hanging around, how positive of an influence they are. And maybe not necessarily need to discard people, but being careful of who's like in your main circle. You feel me? So I would imagine that most of us are deserving of more positivity in our lives. So be kind to yourself.